So, do we need music in order to worship God?
I think the word need is interesting. I lead the musical expression of worship, and I love praise, adoration, prayer in a musical setting, but I don't think it only has to be in a musical setting. I think we can worship through silence or liturgy. People worship through dance, through painting. So I think actually all that we're built to be, all the creative expression, if we outlet that, that can be acts of worship. How you do that in a larger gathering is some of the questions that a lot of people are trying to outwork. How do you actually do silence in a large gathering? How do you do liturgy, ritual? But I must admit, I don't think you need to, although it is very good and it has got rich tradition of music and hymns and hymnology.
Now, of course, in our culture at the moment, we've got a culture of people being able to get what they want, when they want, watch programmes on demand, have food on demand, microwave meals and so on. Do you think almost we're becoming consumers when it comes to worship rather than actually worshippers, that we're sort of demanding, I want this, I want that, rather than actually thinking, I'm coming here to worship God?
I do, and I think we've had that mentality for many years. But it's obviously heightened because everything is much more at our disposal now. The web, internet, the click of a switch, the push of a mouse, the voice activation. So we've learnt to have what we want when we want. And I think that's probably cultured us to be very selective. You use the word fussy. Other people would say that why can't we have what we want when we want? And I think actually we probably need a change of approach. Otherwise we will just be consuming God and consuming church depending on our own preferences. And I don't think that's a very healthy or community way to go.
I guess there's a danger, though, that if people become slightly critical, going up to the person who's leading afterwards, saying, I don't like this particular song, or even making a request saying, can we please sing this song or that song, that maybe the people who are leading are going to start bowing to pressure, rather than actually saying, OK, God, what do you want to do today?
And again, that's happened, I'm sure. I can imagine churches where they see their numbers dwindling. They'll possibly blame the worship band, the singers, the type of songs. And it can be very difficult because some people, I was at Spring Harvest last week, some people want songs that are really energetic and very positive and up. Others want the songs that are very plaintive and very kind of slower and more kind of lament. And you end up absolutely like, I can't please everybody all the time. So I do think we need a new approach and a new attitude to being together.
Now, of course, when you're preparing a set, thinking, right, I'm going to be leading people in worshipping God, is it important to actually spend some time sort of not just praying, but actually making sure that you're in the right place, so that you don't get up and think, right, either this is about me or I'm worried about what people are going to think of me?
Yes, I think sometimes you can think about formula. So this playlist worked last week, so I'll just do the same again. So that's one trap you can fall into without thinking about who you'll be with, where you're going, even your own position before God, even what's happened in the world, even what's happened in our nations. So you can either do the formula, or some people, I think, they must have an app. I call it the random song generator app. And they must kind of just click on it and they have a playlist. And when you're actually in that, you think, what kind of journey am I on here? So I think you have to think what's happening in the world, because I think how we worship and what we sing, what we do, has to be applied in the world context. So think about where we're going, who we are, who we're going to minister with, who we're going to be with, and also prepare yourself so that you are alert, I guess, to the Spirit of God.
Now, some churches will perhaps make an announcement, one week and say, OK, if anyone's a good musician, let us know and you can get involved. Is being a good musician enough?
No, it isn't. It helps. But no, I always see that you need a good mix in a team. You need skill, but you also need servanthood. You need that kind of technical ability, but at the same time you really need a heart for worship and a heart to serve God, to serve people, to serve the song. So it isn't just about good musicianship, although everyone, me included, we need development. But no, it isn't the only thing.
Can there be a danger that maybe we can almost get too attached to our roles if we're involved in the musical expression of worship, and we sort of don't want other people to be raised up in a sense because we're worried that our place might get taken?
Yes, and that happens in any ministry, job, occupation. It becomes your value. And I think even in a worship team, even when you are serving, that serving can become a value. almost as if I used to think to myself, if I never ever appeared on a stage again, would my life still have value? So I might have asked that tough question maybe even just 10 years ago, because I got so used to being on a stage and doing what I do. I thought, has that become my value point? And that can happen to us all. So I think we just need to make sure that we ask ourselves that question, and we have other people who ask ourselves that question too. Yeah.
I guess it can be difficult being on the other side, though, if you're constantly used to being, as you say, on the stage, to actually be in a congregation and actually worshipping. I suppose sometimes that can be quite a challenge, to actually make sure you're really plugging into God in that setting.
Yes, and that's why we should always have time off the stage, off the platform, as some people like to call it, off the actual role of leading, singing in a music team, so that we're actually just in situ, in community, in church, worshipping. It's a very good thing to do.
Tune in to Woman with Maria Rodrigues, weekdays from 10:35 a.m, only on Premier Christian Radio, where faith comes to life.